Hey, what's up everyone? This is Paul T, and thanks again for watching the DSLR Chronicles. So a couple of videos back, I stated that I'd be making some YouTube tutorials on how to make a short film. And since I'm starting with my new project, Trickle Down Autonomy, I thought this would be a good opportunity to have you guys walk with me through, the pre-production, the production, and the post-production stages. And I thought I'd share some of the things I've learned along the way as I start this new project. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing location tips, and I believe these are very essential, especially for short filmmakers working with a limited budget. And this will kind of keep you out of trouble as far as, doing too much to where you won't actually get your project completed. So the first thing I want to talk about is limiting your shooting locations to 1 or 2 places. And the reason you want to do that is because it saves on travel time, which can be wasted traveling to multiple locations. So if you're like me, chances are you're going to be shooting your short film within a day or half a day. And between trying to manage people and lugging around equipment, it can just turn out to be a logistical nightmare. You already have to deal with trying to make sure everyone shows up on time. You kind of have to give a little slack for, there's traffic, things like that. And then as far as equipment, you've got your tripod, you've got your camera, you've got the microphone, you've got your light kit, and, just trying to drag all this stuff around with you from maybe like one apartment to an office building, then going from an office building to like a parking lot. It's just too much, especially for like a short film. The biggest thing is that, you have to be very respectful of people's time. So, breaking down and setting up at multiple locations is just unrealistic. One of the bigger dangers is that, let's say you forget your microphone at the last location you were at. So do you really want to be the person that has to tell your crew that, we have to stop everything because you have to go and get the microphone from way across town? So it just works out better if you're only at 1 or 2 locations. Some films you can watch to kind of get an example of how this is done is definitely check out Reservoir Dogs by Quentin Tarantino. I mean, I know that they have a car scene and they have a bank scene, but I would say at least 85% of that movie was shot within that warehouse. Another good movie to check out is Rope by Alfred Hitchcock. All shot on soundstage in one location. And there's a lot of good history behind that film. If you look at IMDb, they talk about how they did all the long takes and things like that. Not saying that's what you have to do for your film, but those are 2 really good examples of how you can structure your script to really just work with just one location and achieve everything that you're trying to do for your short film. Another tip I can give you is make sure you choose places where you have access to restrooms. This one is pretty self-explanatory, and I don't want to really go into too much detail with this one, but just think about yourself and how you'd feel if you were shooting out in the middle of the woods somewhere and you didn't have a way to properly relieve yourself. So, usually I have between 4 to 6 people on my set, and everybody has varying needs as far as the restroom goes. So again, not really much to talk about there. Another location tip I have is to try to shoot indoors as much as possible. And again, this is another one of those self-explanatory situations. If you live in a place like I do, we have, all 4 seasons. We have, winter, fall, summer, spring. And even if you don't live in a place like I do, you never know what the weather's going to do sometimes. You can try to look at weather channels and look at your app and try to get an idea of what the weather would be like, but it's very fickle. So shooting indoors keeps you from having to worry about it being too cold outside, too hot, if it's raining, those things you cannot control for. So if you're shooting indoors, you're protected from all of those elements. Myself, I don't have the capacity to be outside with my equipment when it's raining. The last thing I want to do is get my equipment damaged. So believe it or not, it's raining right now and I'm shooting indoors, so nothing to worry about. Another advantage of shooting indoors is you have more control over your lighting situation. So, let's say you're shooting outdoors in the evening and you're running out of light, then you have to figure out, how you're going to complete this scene if you don't have a light kit with a generator to where you can use lights. Again, in my situation, I don't have any generators. I don't have any capacity to do any night scenes, so I would generally recommend avoiding doing outdoor night scenes. Same thing if you're shooting in the middle of the day and the sun is in the middle of the sky and it's just beaming down on you and it's just blowing out your picture even though you have a neutral density filter on. And even if you've got a clear picture, you've got your actors squinting and things like that. If you're shooting a Western, then none of that matters, but it's better to shoot early during the day if you're going to be outside because you can control the light a lot better. Shooting indoors also helps you limit the background noise that you have no control over. So if you're outside and there's planes passing overhead, or you've just got a bunch of people in the background and it's just a lot of chatter going on, all of that stuff can cause inconsistencies in your dialogue, and there's nothing that you can do to really fix that. So the only thing you'd really run into as far as noise with shooting indoors is again like your AC, and then maybe like dogs barking, or maybe if you live in an apartment and the people overhead or they're just walking very hard and it's kind of bleeding into your audio. Other than that, you don't really run into a lot of problems. So the last piece of advice I'll give you on locations is that if you have to shoot outdoors, make sure you choose a location to where there's very light people traffic, or shoot early. And the reason for this is I don't like having a lot of people in my background when I'm shooting. Reason is I don't want to run into a situation to where I have my stuff online and someone sees themselves in my short film and they say, hey, I didn't give you permission to have me in your short film, take it down. YouTube may make you honor that request and things like that. So that's one of the things I was concerned about when we were shooting, believe me when I say. There was a park scene to where we had a lot of people passing in the background because we started early, but we were out there for an hour or so and there were more people coming in, come jog and things like that. So kind of had to work around that. And then there was a part to where there was a scene that didn't make it into the final cut, but we were on this path and I had the actors and actress walk toward the camera, but we had to keep moving out of the way because there were joggers coming through. And when we got there and set up earlier, that wasn't really the situation. But as time went on, as we were practicing the scene and things like that, more and more people started showing up, and it was something I just kind of had to work around. But generally, again, I'd recommend if you're going to be shooting outdoors, try to pick a place where there's not a lot of people around, or shoot early in the morning so that you don't run into a lot of people. So again, that's all I had for this video. I just want to share with you some of the tips and tricks I've picked up along the way. I'm sure I didn't cover everything, so if you've got your own tips that you'd like to share, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. And as well, if you like this video, please be sure to thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to have more of these videos coming pretty soon, so just be on the lookout for that. And thanks again, everyone. I'll keep you guys updated on Trickle Down Autonomy as we get closer to shooting it. Right now, we're in the audition phase, and I'm still working on the script as well, but I'll have an update for that coming pretty soon. Other than that, you guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you later.